Okay, so first things first, guys. How are you?
Very good.
Very good. Sun is shining outside.
Unfortunately, we are inside, but
Yeah, well, we can.
All good.
From behind the camera, there's this beautiful view over Amsterdam, so it's all right.
okay. What I want to start with, Casper, do you remember the first time you heard him play the drum?
I remember it clearly.
Okay.
Yes, we are back in 2012, somewhere around June.
Oh, I think even
April.
August.
Oh, was it
July,
August?
August, maybe like that.
Seriously?
Something
Oh,
like
it's
that.
that date. Okay.
Anyway.
Summer of 2014. No,
12.
of 12, and we had a drum audition in our studio in Berlin, Efterklang, and we were looking for a new drummer, and we invited 10 drummers, and this guy walks in, and just somehow blew our minds completely. Very, very, with ease, kind of played some drum beat that all the other drummers were sort of struggling with, and while smiling.
Yeah, what did you hear in his drumming? What made it fit with what you were looking for?
I mean, he saw, like you could say, as a teacher, I would say he kind of checked for he did what he was supposed to do.
Sure.
But what really turned us on to his drumming and his musicianship, and maybe also artistic side, was his curiosity for sounds. So after the drum audition, which was proven that he was technically leveled beyond,
Sure.
you know. I don't think I ever played with as technical skilled drummer ever in my life, and you got your toolbox. He was showing us these kind of, you know, these things you flip them and then they go
Like cow toys.
Yeah, he was sort of pulling them out of his bag and saying, "Oh, I just bought them in the shop today." And then he started kind of go and started kind of make these like sick beats with them. And we were like, "Wow, this guy, this guy has this. I don't know. There was an instant kind of."
Falling in love.
Yeah, there was an
Together.
instant kind of falling in love thing going on.
And for you, Tatu, what was your experience of this? Because obviously you know Efterklang. What were you looking for?
Well, to me, the whole thing was very like the first meeting was just very spontaneous. I mean, I also remember the moment of walking to the in-yard of the studio and just seeing kind of like, I think I just remember Casper's smiling face, just this like three dudes that somehow have a very sunny energy, and I felt that it's like easy to walk in and say hi, and then from the very first moment playing music, although it's pretty scary situation to play a fucking audition, because music is not about competition. In that moment it was, but then like it felt really natural and good to play with them. And from that moment on until the end of the Efterklang tour, which lasted for 2 years, we kind of developed and went deeper into this like musical and friendship, love that just went deeper and felt so good that then came Liima.
Was it
Yeah.
after those 2 years, after the tour, that the kind of idea, or was that idea already there?
I mean, I think over the 2 years, once we started playing together, and Tatu coming from a very different background than we do, like he's basically studied music, and we didn't. That's being very sort of like creates a sort of like, because that's kind of how it felt. But the thing was that we created a sort of space, or we had an interest for a space in between these things that were beyond like technical skills. And so I think over the tour, even though playing Efterklang music, he had to kind of like learn all these songs, and he had to kind of like adapt to the music that we were doing with his way. So he was more like a guest musician, and that has a certain limit to be that. I think we just kind of started going on these small adventures in the concert. Sometimes we put in like an impro here and there, and it just felt nice and fun. And so we were kind of like, we
felt like we have to explore this kind of free territory more. Just go sort of more just collectively into something unknown, basically. And then came and like after the tour finished and after there was no more concerts announced, Pekka Kuusisto, who is this great Finnish violin player, basically invited Efterklang doing something new, a collaboration in his festival in Finland called Our Festival. And then I guess he slightly suggested that maybe you should do something with Tatu. So then we went to this forest residency. We basically spent 1 week in a summer cottage and kind of started from scratch, started to make music together, and that was like initially just sort of a project to see what would happen if we make music together in one space for a week and then immediately perform it to an audience. And after that gig, it just like that felt so good, the whole thing, and got really good feedback that then we decided to continue, and then it kind of half accidentally became a band. So it wasn't about being a project anymore, it was a band.
You say that it began as a project. Did you think about doing an album at that point?
No, like I think our main thing was just that we wanted to make music together. I think we've both come from backgrounds of making records, so obviously it was kind of like a ghost from previous experiences that might be nice to record, but it wasn't that present. It was more about like trying to make while we were in this Finnish summer cottage, we were thinking more about like how to make a concert. So the first show we did was in the end of the residency, and we had to make music within 1.5 weeks for an hour of music, which is coming from where we come from. It's very long. I mean, so in a way we had to base the first concert a bit on these kind of improvisations, and then try to make. I think we had 6 songs. There was these like blocks in the set, and then we created these like intersections between them that stretched it out for an hour. So, but there was also like listening back to that recording, which people out there can find in on SoundCloud. It's a bit more ambient set. It has a bit more of
loose ends here and there.
Yeah. So, but that was our main concern. I think we started recording. We started thinking about when we went to the second residency, which basically we performed in our you could say our hometown at that point, Berlin, and that was where we found got a little bit more of an idea of our sound.
Yeah, started to condense or like kind of defining the sounds just like a bit more, I don't know, it's maybe too much to say, but like kind of finding certain things that we like, that we want to take, a direction that we want to take. So it like figured out that these certain rhythms and maybe music that people can dance to, or some like physical music, that's what we were turned on by. Yeah. And then so from that point on, it just started to become more and more like, okay, this is what we like, and let's try to kind of refine this idea into a song that makes us feel good, but then also playing it to people and observing how people react to kind of figure out what just works in the whole process of playing to people, because we're anyways performing and playing the music for audiences. So